we are welcoming, this is wonderful. Joining me on set, Mercedes Schlapp, CPAC Foundation Senior Fellow, former White House Strategic Comms Director, and Kellyanne Conway, former counselor to President Trump and Fox News contributor. Ladies, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it very much. I'll start with Kellyanne. Kellyanne, by the way, you are doing great service on this network, helping everybody to understand what's been going on.
I don't think she slapped Larry.
And we appreciate it. I don't think she did.
That way.
She's phenomenal. I saw her sword.
Democracy was on the ballot
last night. There you go. And you're furthering it. Why do you suppose, let's just start with this simple question, why do you suppose it didn't turn out quite as robustly with the cavalry and all the rest of it, and wasn't what a lot of people hoped it was?
First of all, I'll take a win any day if it means that Republicans get control of the House and Senate, both of which I believe will happen. That means we get the gavel back, the leadership positions, Larry, the chairmanship of the committees, and things start happening. The Biden agenda gets stopped in its track. No more of this $1 trillion of spending of money we don't have on things we don't need or ask for. And also, I think we get back to really the America First policy agenda of energy independence and a sound economy, Putin not in Ukraine, people not walking over the border and fentanyl. So things will happen quickly. Secondly, I think it's a combination of factors. Number one is the Democrats did a great job turning out their base. And if you wonder why they came out with these messengers and these messages at the end that didn't comport with what people were saying was important to them in the polls, they knew they have a losing hand on inflation, economy, energy, immigration, education, and crime. So they went out and they had Barack Obama talking about abortion, certainly, which was a bigger issue than many people anticipated this time. First post-Roe, post-Dobbs election, people did vote on that. But also they're just out there scaring us and scolding us. Now, they can live with that. The other thing is candidate quality. I've been talking about this for a long time. I see it Sesame Street, Grover's word of the day, but it's important. Not all candidates are created equally. Some really improved. I hope all those first-time candidates run again, most of them anyway. The other thing is that, you know, we had these monumental victories last night among Republican governors. Certainly in Florida, where Governor DeSantis is realigning the state, but also in South Carolina and Georgia and Texas and Iowa and South Dakota. I mean, all across the map. People are saying, for my chief executive, I want to have confidence in your competence. But I think the reason it wasn't as good is some people bought into a red wave from, I think, some bogus polling on our side and some expectation raising by the Democrats. They did a smart thing by saying, we too are worried about the red wave, so we'll have Barack Obama and Bill Clinton out there telling you about it. But I think it was a great night. Last point, the Fox News voter analysis shows big shifts. 12-point shift among black voters, 15-point shift among Hispanic voters, that 12% shift among suburban white women voters that was predicted and came to be. So it's not going to show in every single race, but overall, realignments like that happen slowly and surely.
Right.
They become durable and consequential.
Right.
That's happening, and I love being part of it at this stage in our nation's history.
I think that's very insightful. Mercy, Newt was on Fox and Friends this morning. He hated it. We're all going to hate this, but he thought the demonization of Republicans did have an effect. It's a despicable tactic, but I wondered what your thought was and if that thing's going to continue.
Well, I do think that the demonization of Republicans will absolutely continue. I mean, this is their playbook. It is part of what Joe Biden has done to divide us, in essence. You know, I do think that the abortion issue played a significant role where you saw a small percentage move and shift towards the Democrats in these key states. I think that while they tried with the fear-mongering, the Democrats, they tried with demonizing the Republicans, I don't think it necessarily moved the needle all that much. I do believe that there was two things happening, two effects here. One is where you had these strong Republican governors with accomplishments, they won. So you really did have the red wave in Florida, the red wave in Texas, for instance. But then at the same time...
Oh, yeah, Beto O'Rourke is gone.
Yes. Well,
So
Stacey Abrams.
So was Stacey Abrams.
And actually,
I hate to say it, but those are wonderful things.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
Georgia as well.
continue.
You have the strong Republican governor. Accomplishments matter.
Brian.
Secondly, these political novices who Many of them went through brutal primaries, didn't have the money.
That's right.
There weren't effective get out the vote efforts, in my opinion, in these key states.
That's the point I was trying
And
to...
at the end of the day, they were outraised 2-3 to 1.
right.
The
That's
Democrats had a huge advantage over us. And I know that the White House could be giddy right now, but at the end of the day, look, we're going to have a House majority. We'll likely have a Senate majority. We can stop the pain. And I think Biden's getting a little too overconfident, thinking he's going to be able to run again 2024.
Kellyanne, some brief things here. Blame Donald Trump. All right, I'm reading blame Donald Trump. The usual crowd, maybe some others. Donald Trump's to blame. What do you think?
But most of the people are blaming Donald Trump for last night. We're blaming him for the rain yesterday. So, when you're a hammer, the whole world looks like a nail. And the hammers thought they got a brand new nail last night. Look, I give the president credit for engaging at all. Because usually former presidents, they stop in politics. The worst thing that can happen to a George W. Bush or a Bill Clinton or Barack Obama is a former cabinet secretary or senior staffer saying, I'm running for office, will you help me? It's like, oh, I gave that up. But he's just getting started in politics. And look, not all the candidates won, but did the candidates who lost that Donald Trump endorsed do the work? It's my question. Larry, Mercy knows there's no exception for doing the work and no substitute for it. And I think some people get his endorsement and then they don't run on the America First policy agenda. They have this, they get lazy. They figure I'm going to. So I think that was going on a couple places. I'm going to be very public in my criticism of the endorsement of Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania. I was critical at the time. That helped cause us the Oz seat. I wish Kathy Barnett had endorsed him and helped. I certainly was for Dave McCormick in the primary, but once Oz was the nominee, we're all in against Fetterman. But I think when I saw Oz's banner last night, it said, bringing balance to Washington, my heart sank.
Oh, I know.
That is not the message, closing, opening, or otherwise.
He should have been Biden gave him a gift about ending coal. Pennsylvania's a coal state.
That's really the message. And first-time celebrity candidates get that wrong. But let me just say
and he
very
didn't get
quickly.
Oprah's endorsement.
Very quickly, we're going to be back here, the three of us, at some point, and you're going to play the clip, and we're going to say today was actually a great day because today's the day Joe Biden thought he should actually run again in 2024.
Right. I agree.
They're going to misread this completely.
I'm not so far off taking an optimistic point of view of this. Okay,
well, Larry, you're known as our happy warrior.
I'm your happy,
like we're more realistic here.
But I'm close. You got to give me some credit.
You know what it is? I think you might have slept a little more than Kellyanne and I did. So I'm still kind of recovering from last night's shockwave. But I do think you have a good perspective and understanding that, yes, it's not as bad as we think it is. I think there was a high expectation game coming from our side that didn't play out the way we wanted it to. But I think that in a lot of these states, we made gains.
You have never been this nice to me before. This is a wonderful moment here.
You're our goat.
Can I ask you a question, though? I don't mean to interrupt, but we're running out of time. We always do. But look at a smart person friend of mine wrote an interesting column. Governor DeSantis is the new leader of the Republican Party.
Here's the deal. They keep talking about you. We said the blame game on Donald Trump. Well, let me tell you, Ron DeSantis endorsed the same candidates as Donald Trump, so I really don't want to hear that. Look, I think
he had a good
we
night.
have strong...
You did good things,
Here's
DeSantis.
the great thing. We have strong Republican leadership. Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott. Now we have a wonderful governor in Arkansas, our friend Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
There you go. Let's
That's
give
what's
a shout out to Sarah Sanders.
It's a big bench.
I spoke to her just before the show. That's a big thing that she won.
Huge.
That is a very important, significant thing that she won.
It was a great night for Republican women, actually. Get Katie Britt, first woman elected Republican Senate in Alabama. Anna Paulina Luna in, obviously, Pinellas County, Florida. And honestly, the list goes on and on. There are others, and perhaps Carrie Lake. That would be great. But I say this because Mercy is right. We don't need one leader. This is not Russia, everybody. We have lots of leaders. I'm thrilled that Ron DeSantis and Brian Kemp and Donald Trump and Mike Pence and pick a card, any card.
And Glenn Youngkin.
All of them are all leaders within our party and all did their part to get people elected. Now they need to do it one more time. The midterms are not yet over. Everybody needs to show up, stand up, put up, and speak up for Herschel Walker in Georgia. Everybody. I want to see DeSantis and Trump on the stage there together for all I care. Just show that unity ticket and make sure that Raphael Warnock is retired.
I know. It's a whole blessing. One last point. If 1 million New Yorkers hadn't left New York and gone to Florida, Lee Zeldin would have won. He won. They were all the Zeldin votes, but they all moved to Florida for happier times. Kellyanne Conway. That was good. Thank you. You were so nice to me.
Oh,
you bought into
that's because
optimism.
Kellyanne's here with me, so she keeps me in check.
Kelly.